I am going to ask you something that might sound a little ridiculous. What if I told you that setting aside $100 a month could eventually turn you into a millionaire? I know how that sounds. It sounds like one of those too good to be true claims you scroll past on social media, but the math behind it is real. And it is not some complicated Wall Street secret reserved for bankers and hedge fund managers. It is one of the most well documented, boring, and reliable forces in all of personal finance. So, in this video, I am going to show you exactly how $100 a month can grow into over $1 million. And more importantly, how you can make it happen in real life. Let us start with the math because the numbers are what make this so powerful. If you invest $100 every single month and your investments earn an average annual return of 8%, which is roughly in line with the long term average return of the stock market, after 40 years, you will have contributed $48,000 of your own money. But your portfolio will be worth not $48,000, not even close. It will be worth over $348,000. That $300,000 gap between what you put in and what you end up with is entirely compound interest. Your money earning money on the money it already earned over and over again, year after year. Now, $348,000 is a lot of money, but it is not a million. So let me show you what happens when you increase your contributions over time. In your 20s, you might only be able to afford $100 a month. That is completely fine. In your 30s, as your income grows, you increase it to $200 a month. In your 40s, $300. In your 50s, $400. By the time you reach retirement age at 65, you will have put in around $136,000 of your own money. But your portfolio will be worth not $136,000. It will be worth over $1 million. $1 million from contributions that never exceeded $400 a month. That is not magic. That is the compounded growth of consistent investing over a working lifetime. You do not need a massive salary. You do not need to win the lottery. You just need time and consistency. Part 2. Why time matters far more than the amount you invest. The single biggest factor in building wealth through investing is not how much you invest. It is how long you let your money grow. And most people get this backward. They think they need a large lump sum to start. So they wait. And while they wait, they lose the one thing they can never get back, which is time. Let me give you a concrete example that illustrates this perfectly. Meet Sarah and Emma. Sarah starts investing at age 25. She invests $100 a month and earns an average of 8% annually. She does this for 10 years and then stops. She never adds another dollar after age 35. Emma, on the other hand, does not start investing until age 35. But when she starts, she invests $100 a month for the next 30 years, all the way until she is 65. So Sarah invested for 10 years and stopped. Total contribution, $12,000. Emma invested for 30 years. Total contribution, $36,000, 3 times as much. At age 65, who do you think has more money? The answer is Sarah. Sarah, who invested for only 10 years and contributed a total of $12,000, ends up with over $242,000. Emma, who invested for 30 years and contributed $36,000, ends up with just over $150,000. Sarah has almost $100,000 more, even though she invested less than half as much of her own money. How is that possible? It is because Sarah started 10 years earlier. Those 10 extra years gave her money more time to compound. And that head start was worth more than all the extra contributions Emma made over 3 decades. This is why the single most important financial decision you can make is to start investing as early as possible, even if you start with $25 a month, even if it feels pointless. The most valuable thing you bring to investing is not your money, it is your time. Part 3. Making your $100 a month go further. Now, there are a few things you can do to make sure your $100 a month works as hard as possible. The first is to put it in a tax-advantaged account. In the United States, that means a Roth IRA or a 401k. If you put your $100 a month into a Roth IRA, you contribute after-tax money, but every single dollar of growth comes out completely tax-free when you retire. That means your $348,000 stays $348,000, not a penny less. If you invest the same amount in a regular taxable brokerage account, you will owe capital gains tax on the growth. Over 40 years, that could easily reduce your final number by $50,000 or more. The second thing is to keep your costs incredibly low. Index funds and exchange-traded funds that track the total stock market or the S&P 500 typically charge less than 0.1% per year in fees, which is essentially nothing. Actively managed funds often charge 1% or more. That difference might sound tiny, But over 40 years, paying 1% more in fees could cost you well over $100,000 in lost growth. You do not need to pick the next Amazon. You do not need a fancy fund manager. You just need a low-cost fund that tracks the broad market, invested consistently with time on your side. Part 4. The one thing you need before you start investing. There is a catch to all of this. You should not invest your $100 a month until you have an emergency fund in place, and I want to explain exactly why. Investing works when you can leave your money alone for years or decades. But if an unexpected expense comes up, your car breaks down, you lose your job, you have a medical bill, and you do not have cash set aside, you will be forced to sell your investments to cover it. And if the market happens to be down at that moment, which is when you least want to sell, you will lock in a loss and miss out on the recovery. That is the opposite of what you want. So, before you start investing, build an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in a high-yield savings account. This money is not for growing, it is for protection. It is the foundation that allows you to invest without fear. Once that fund is full, every dollar you add beyond it can go toward investing. And if you are thinking, but that will take me months to save up, I know. That is okay. Financial literacy is not about doing everything at once. It is about building the right foundation first. Build your emergency fund, then start investing your $100 a month. You will invest with confidence knowing that you will not need to pull that money out at the worst possible moment. Part 5. How to stay consistent when the market gets scary. The hardest part of this entire process is not understanding the math. It is staying consistent when the market drops. Because at some point during your investing journey, the market will fall. Maybe by 10%, maybe by 30%, maybe by 50%. It has happened before, and it will happen again. In 2008, the market lost over 37% of its value. In 2020, it dropped 34% in just a few weeks. In 2022, it fell by 19%. And when these drops happen, every instinct you have will tell you to stop investing or even sell everything to protect yourself. That instinct is wrong. When the market drops and you keep investing your $100 a month, you are buying shares at a discount. You are getting more for your money than you were when prices were high. This is called dollar cost averaging. And over time, it works heavily in your favor because you buy more shares when prices are low and fewer when prices are high. Your average cost per share ends up lower than the average price over time. The investors who do well are not the ones who predict the crashes. They are the ones who stay invested through the crashes. They keep buying, they keep holding, and when the market recovers, which it always has every single time in history, they are rewarded for their patience. So here is a simple rule to follow. When the market is going up, you feel great. Keep investing. When the market is going down, you feel terrible. Keep investing. The only wrong move is to stop. So here's the bottom line. $100 a month invested consistently in a low-cost index fund inside a tax-advantaged account, left alone for 40 years, can grow into over $1 million. It is not a trick. It is not a hack. It is the single most accessible path to building real wealth that exists for the average person. And the hardest part is not the math. It is starting. So if you have been waiting for the right moment, this is it. Open the account, set up the automation, pick the fund, and then let time do the rest. If this video helped you see investing in a new light, I would love to know how much you are planning to invest each month. And if you found it useful, subscribe. I post every week on money, investing, and building a financial life that is genuinely yours. I will see you in the next one.